life, is it based on principles of selflessness which will impact everybody positively? That is Lord Ram. And when someone sees such qualities, they develop trust that we can develop relationship with this person. It will be long term. So therefore, integrity is the foundational principle for relationship represented by Ram. Now we come to the second brother, Lakshmana. Sarva priyakarastasya ramasya sharirata Lakshmano Lakshmi sampanna bahir prana ivapara. Lakshman means one who sees and considers Lord Ram to be his external breath. When Lakshman looks at Ram, he thinks, my prana vayu, my shwas vayu is walking. Bahir prana. Lakshmi sampanna bahir prana. Sarva priyakarastasya. He was willing to do everything to please Ram. So what does the word Lakshman mean? Valmiki ji says, Lakshmano Lakshmi sampanna. Lakshmi sampanna means one who is endowed with Lakshmi is Lakshman. So question can be asked. For 14 years in the forest, Lakshman was without any Lakshmi. He was poverty stricken. He was wearing only, valkal, the tree barks, and he was not having any of the ornaments. He was not living in palace. He was not having any Lakshmi. Why is he called Lakshman then? Why is he called Lakshmi Sampanna? He was Daridrata Sampanna for 14 years. So the Acharyas are explaining that the real Lakshmi which Lakshman was aspiring for is the opportunity to serve Lord Ram and the Ayodhya Vasis. The opportunity for seva is what Lakshman was constantly searching for. And therefore he is called Lakshmi Sampanna. That is a greatest Lakshmi, greatest wealth. So therefore, many times we think success in life is to get sampatti and to avoid vipatti. If I get prosperity and I avoid adversity, that is success. People feel that is real wealth. But Ramayana is describing that Lakshman is changing that narrative, and Lakshman is demonstrating that real wealth, real Lakshmi is not getting sampatti or avoiding vipatti, but it is the opportunity you get for prapatti, which is for seva, the opportunity to serve. And therefore Lakshman served Ram diligently in the forest, taking a vow to give up even sleep for 14 years because he wanted to serve. So this is very important, because sometimes when we engage in service, we expect results immediately. But we should realize Lakshman had the patience to continue serving. So service attitude means you must have utsahan, which is enthusiasm, nishchayat, determination, dhairyat, patience, without which service cannot be long term. When I joined the ashram in Chowpatty, I was sent to the kitchen to serve. After 1 week of my joining, one more person joined as a monk. He was also sent to the kitchen. So I told him that you are very well built. In the kitchen, we need a lot of seva for making chapatis. So why don't you make chapatis? So he was making chapatis. After 1 week, he came and complained to me. He looked at me and said, you have not recognized my talent. You don't know who I am. I said, who are you? He said, I am the most famous speaker in my village. When I stand up and give lecture, whole village stands and claps. I joined ISKCON so that I can become a preacher, a speaker, not to make chapatis. I did not join ISKCON to make chapatis. I looked at him and said, why you are telling me? I am also making chapatis only. After 1 week again he complained. And then after 1 month he took his bags and came to me and said, I am going home. I said, what happened? He said, you don't recognize talent. I joined ISKCON to be a preacher, not to roll chapatis. Bye. He went home. 10 years later, he met me at an event. He came running to me and he said, after I left the temple, I got married. After marriage, my wife got back pain. Every day at home, I am only making chapatis. And he said, maybe it was better to make in temple only. So, many times, the biggest challenge in organizations is people end up making decisions in haste. Whereas Lakshman was provoked many times, but he would always weigh that provocation against how it will impact Ram. And then he would control himself. And many times, when there is provocation, the greatness of a person is estimated by their ability to tolerate provoking situations. And therefore, service attitude means we will be tested repeatedly. Sometimes we may feel, forget it. Who will continue doing this? But one has to continue and control, as Krishna says, Tribidham narakasyedam dwaram nashanam kamam krodham tatha lobham tasmat etatrayam tajet. My dear Arjun, try to control these three enemies within, which are gates to hell: lust, anger, and greed. I was giving a talk to a whole group of prisoners in Yerawada jail, Pune. 500 prisoners were sitting in front of me. I love jail programs. You know why? Because audience is guaranteed. I gave the talk and I said, any questions? One prisoner raised his hand and said, I have a question. I said, ask. He said, I want to come on the stage and ask the question. So I got a little worried. There was the commissioner of police prison standing next to me. I asked him, who's this person? He wants to come on stage. Who's he? And the commissioner whispered in my ear, he has committed 12 murders. I whispered back, am I going to be 13th? He says, no, don't worry, let him come. He came on the stage and asked this question. I gave the answer. Then I took him aside and I said, at such a young age, how could you commit so many murders? And he said, the association I was in was such that I went on the wrong path. And then when anger overwhelms me, it becomes a blackout. I cannot discriminate. But he said, last 1 year, we were asked to translate books in the Braille language in the jail for the visually impaired. And last 2 months, the book which I've been translating into Braille has completely transformed me. I said, what book is that? He said, Bhagavad Gita. And by reading that Bhagavad Gita, I have developed a desire for satsang, good association. We facilitated that satsang right from next week, and over the period of 4 years, almost 200 prisoners were doing meditation and completely transformed their lives. So therefore, dear friends, integrity is the foundation represented by Ram. Service attitude is what takes the mission forward, represented by Lakshman. That's at the core of relationships. The third principle, when the relationship goes through rocky patches, is represented by Bharata. What does Bharata mean? Bharavahi iti Bharata. Bharavahi means one who can carry heavy loads. Bhara. One who can carry heavy loads. What heavy loads are we talking about? The heaviest load which we have to carry emotionally is misunderstanding by people who are closest to us. When people misunderstand us, falsely accuse us, falsely ascribe wrong intentions to our actions, and they subject us to character assassination, that is the heaviest load to carry. It is heaviest when it comes from people you trust and you are close with. Bharat was in Kaikeya Pradesh when Kaikeyi sent Ram to the forest. He had actually nothing to do with this. But because he was the beneficiary, whole of Ayodhya thought he is a co-conspirator. Kaushalya thought Bharat is co-conspirator. Bharadwaj Muni thought he is a co-conspirator. Vasishtha Rishi thought he is a co-conspirator. Bharat was helpless, clueless, and he is going to offer the last rites to his father's dead body, Dasharath Maharaj. Vasishtha Rishi holds his hand and said, Bharat, you cannot do the last rites. Bharat says, my elder brother is in forest. I am the next in hierarchy. As per tradition, I have to do the last rites. He says, sorry. He said, why? Vasishtha Rishi says, Bharat, I am sad to say that when Dasharath Maharaj was leaving his body, the last wish which he expressed was, along with Kaikeyi, Bharat is the biggest conspirator. Bharat is the culprit. Bharat has demoniac qualities. Bharat is my greatest enemy. Do not allow even Bharat's shadow to come near my dead body. And Bharat nearly had a heart attack because the person whom he loved and adored the most, his father, departed by cursing him in horrible ways, thinking that he has been party to this conspiracy. And the biggest challenge was, now Dasharath Maharaj is already departed. He cannot clarify. When there is a misunderstanding and someone blocks you on WhatsApp, you have hope that I'll meet him somewhere and then I can clarify. But now there is no clarification possible. The person has departed. He was carrying that load on his head. Therefore it is called Bharavahi, carrying the heavy load. And therefore, dear friends, when Lord Ram told Bharat to lead the kingdom, he would get up at 1:30 in the morning and take bath in Sarayu, because after 2 o'clock, when the Ayodhya Vasis would see Bharat, they were so angry, they will pick up stones and hit him, accusing, here is the person who has sent Ram to the forest. So Bharat had to lead an entire kingdom who misunderstood him, but he did not give up his duty. That's a very important part of relationship, which is called tolerance. So Bharat Maharaj represents tolerance. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama apayino anityastante tikshasva bharata. My dear Arjuna, summer and winter will come and go. Tolerate, which is very important. Tolerance, as per Gita, is to call off the war on reality. Certain situations we just cannot fight. We have to accept it, acknowledge it, align our desires with the reality. There is no other way. About and the opening of the Ram temple. But more importantly, all of us need to reconnect with those timeless principles which have powerful impact in all of our lives on a day-to-day basis. There was a very famous research which was conducted in our family. I told my dad at the age of 17, you gave me everything in life, Dad, except the experience of family, because when I was 2 years old, you were divorced. Today, a country like Luxembourg has 88% divorce rate, Spain has 65% divorce rate, France has 55% divorce rate, Russia has 51% divorce rate, America has 46% divorce rate, global divorce rate is 44%. India still has the lowest divorce rate in the world at 1% only. And I must add, as of today, and his father bought him a ticket to Bharat. He came to a city, went to a place which showed paying guests accepted. He went to one family and he said, allow me to be in your family as a paying guest just for 2 years to experience what is family. The emotional warmth, between family members, just sitting together and eating food together. I want to experience what is love of a family. Only for 2 years, if you allow me to experience family as a paying guest, every month I will give a rent of 1 lakh rupees. That family said, why 2 years? Stay whole life. And they said, if you have other friends also who want to experience, we can open one more room. Goldman Sachs came with a report that between 2015 to 2025, the infrastructure investment required in Bharat would be up to $1.4 trillion. Out of that, $800 billion would come from family savings. If there is no family feeling, why there will be family savings? So many times we think that corporate is the biggest contributor to the savings ecosystem, but little do we realize that one of the biggest contributors to the economy is the humble housewife sitting at home, who through her keeping the house together and the family together is actually maintaining such a very important institution. Therefore, tolerance is at the very foundational level. If we don't tolerate, we cannot come together and do anything, either in family or in organization or any kind of project. So Bharat represents tolerance and Shatrughna represents humility. Shatrughna nitya Shatrughna nitah priti puraskrita. Shatrughna was always serving Bharat. The whole kingdom was glorifying Ram. The whole kingdom was accusing Bharat. It was very tough for Shatrughna to continuously express his loyalty towards Bharat. When the whole world is against you, to be socially disconnected is not easy. But Shatrughna continued serving Bharat. Shatrughna nitya Shatrughna nitah priti puraskrita. Bharat could just take Shatrughna anywhere the way he wanted. He had so much confidence. Why? No false ego. He was free from ego. Therefore, he was humble. When there is humility, then only we can survive relationships. Without the foundation of humility, we cannot do anything. So therefore, dear friends, I just wanted to summarize that the 4 relationship sutras as described in the Ramayana, beautifully encapsulated by the brilliant character in 24,000 shlokas of Valmiki Ramayana. Ram representing integrity, Lakshman representing service attitude, Bharat representing tolerance, and Shatrughna representing humility. All of these characters, through their amazing personalities, interactions, and pastimes, act as a beacon light for all of us to take few drops from their oceanic qualities, apply, implement, internalize in our lives, in our personal lives, in our family lives, in our professional lives, in lives to impact society, so that we can improve ourselves, our family situation, our organizations functioning. We can improve the functioning of society in Bharat, and globally, in a conflict-ridden world, we can add value just by imbibing some of these beautiful qualities as described in the great literature, Sri Ramayana. Thank you very much for giving me this platform. Have the small video, and then we will have our interaction.
Govardhan Eco Village is about 2.5 hours northeast of Mumbai. in a very beautiful rural village area of Maharashtra. There's a very holy place in India which is considered most sacred to devotees of Krishna. It's called Vrindavan. And in that Vrindavan is a mountain named Govardhan, which represents environmental, ecological harmony with spiritual principles.
This place is very special. Certainly it's unique in India and perhaps unique in the whole world. It's like a retreat center. It's like a spa. It's like an ashram. It's a place that's designed as an experiment to merge environmentalism, animal rights, and bhakti, spirituality, together, and it's working.
Come dance with me.
The amenities here are of a whole nother caliber. People, when they think of the words India and ashram, they think of harsh and rough living. From the Ayurvedic clinic, which not only gives treatments, but also has an Ayurvedic doctor who helps prescribe something that is specific for your dosha. The atmosphere that is created by the founder, Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and the atmosphere that is created by the devotees who work here is palpable. You can feel it in the air.
Originally, I was from Chicago. When I was 19 years old in 1970, I wanted to try to broaden my outlook of life. So I went on a journey. Ultimately, I hitchhiked from London to the Himalayas in India. And as I was traveling, I came to realize that the real social and environmental problems of the world are due to a spiritual crisis. A crisis in what we consider is actually meaningful and fulfilling in our life.
Radhanath Swami is a passionate person. The best passion is compassion, and he has an ample amount of that. And that type of passion is contagious.
Coming here and helping to, doing the seva, the service, helping with the cows, helping with to weave mats, helping with make pottery. It's actually fun. It's very simple lifestyle, and I think a lot of us crave that on different levels.
And it's sort of programmed into our culture that you look for recognition. You need it. For me, being here, I see it's far more powerful to be humble.
It was easy to complain about the tiny inconveniences that come with a New York City apartment. Oh, it's not big enough. Oh, the water pressure isn't great enough. When you live in a house that you see built from the ground up, every step along the way is very special.
When people come here, we're trying to inspire an educational, experiential alternative of a fulfilling, meaningful, sustainable, healthy life.
Apart from these jasmine flowers which you're seeing, he grows a lot of these ladyfingers, okra. Yeah. So we network with all these farmers so that we purchase them in our kitchen and use them.
Can we get this to the kitchen? We can give them to the,
And the inspiration of this project, Srila Prabhupada, he called this transformation simple living and high thinking.
We get 3,000 millimeters of rain annually. So the rainwater hits against those mountains, the Sahyadri mountain ranges, and flows down and collects here. And it is sufficient water for us to irrigate our fields for up to 6 to 7 months every year. The majority of India's population, which is 1.2 billion, lives in the villages. So one of the very important requirements to develop a village is how can water be conserved.
The process begins here. As you can see, the raw sewage is falling and there are some screens. The first chamber is called screen chamber, where we are trying to separate floating solids. This is the raw water where we began, and this is the treated water. The uniqueness of this place comes from the fact that every waste is becoming a precious resource. That cow dung becomes a fertilizer for earth. He needs fire or energy for cooking his food,
and therefore all of the cow dung we utilize for biogas plant. We need to make houses, so we use the same earth, and we have created 250,000 bricks. We call this a symbiotic recycling model. Flushing your toilet, you are contributing to the growth of a papaya. You are contributing to the growth of flowers.
One of the greatest management gurus says that the greatest management challenge of the 21st century is managing oneself.
Many corporate heads are having seminars and retreats here. And they also see alternative ways by which they could focus their own corporations and feel a real sense of responsibility to humanity.
The thing I'm most compelled to do when I get home is really a seva. It's service. It gets us out of being so self-absorbed.
I always had too much. And now I want to have a simple life, like here. I love simple life, and my goal is to make a simple life in my home.
And if we just refocus our energies with these values, we could transform the world.
Every step that I take, you dance with me.
It's truly a miraculous, magical place on this planet.
Hello. Yeah. So I want to begin by offering the Mahaprasad from Radha Madan Mohan Temple of ISKCON's Govardhan Eco Village to Shri Annamalai ji before we begin our conversation.
Swamiji, it's a great pleasure to listen to you, and you have shared your wonderful thoughts. And many of us, we keep seeing you in YouTube videos. We keep many times wondering, a monk who is able to communicate very realistically, connect to people, different sections of people, a businessman or a civil servant or a farmer. Thank you so much for keeping inspiring us, Swamiji. That is very important. This modern age and time, we live in a world of negativity. We are surrounded by a lot of negative things. But every time we listen to you, we all have a sense of optimism and hope. And today we all had the privilege of seeing you in person. Swamiji, I would like to keep this interaction a freewheeling conversation, because Many of the eminent people keep seeing you in multiple avatars. We keep listening to your speeches. So I wanted to go slightly off track and get into certain topics that might interest all the audience here. Swamiji, this is a great country. Bharat is a great country. And if somebody has to define this land, we define this land as a land of seekers. We all keep seeking things. But of late, I don't think that is happening, at least in my generation, maybe the previous generation. We don't seek things. We take knowledge for granted. And introspection has gone for a toss. We don't introspect much. And we just live our life, how the life presents to us. And you also mentioned where there's an opportunity, there is also a crisis. Next 20, 30 years, we don't manage these things well. Huge population, 140 crore to 165 crore. And if you don't have this introspection, in introspection comes humility, introspection comes a lot of qualities that you mentioned. So what are your thoughts, Swamiji, the present generation? How introspective should we become? It is a very fast-tracked world. To pull it back, how do you see that, Swamiji?
Thank you very much, Annamalaji, and I want to first of all acknowledge the amazing life's journey you have undertaken by taking a path which is filled with risk because you had the conviction to do something which would benefit society. So first of all, a round of applause for what you have done. It's a brilliant question, and I want to give the context in terms of the 4 cardinal principles of Vedic Sanatan Dharma, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So you very aptly mentioned that we are a land of seekers. So moksha was a very important part of our lexicon and dictionary. Dharma was the foundation. So the house has a foundation, it has a roof. So Vedic Sanatan Dharma always had Dharma and the roof as the moksha, and in between was Artha and Kama. But the generation of the 60s and 70s, because of serious financial crisis and lack of facilities, focused on Artha and Kama. And that generation, because they focused on Artha and Kama, finally, India is poised to become the 3rd largest economy very soon. So we can say that that generation has been successful. Just as an example, 76 million Indians have emigrated from India out of Bharat from 1990 to 2020. In America alone, so today there are 36 million globally as we speak. In America alone, 22 of the top Fortune 500 companies are led by Indian CEOs. They employ 2.7 million people for a net turnover of $1 trillion. So now, 50% of the motels in America are owned by Indians. So therefore, financially and facility-wise, so the focus was on finance and facility. If you look at it, we have achieved it. In that process, there has been a little neglect of dharma and moksha. So dharma and moksha has gone out of our conversation compared to what the previous generations were having. Therefore, I think from my perspective, 33 years ago, I joined ISKCON so that I can spread more the message of dharma and explain about moksha and help people integrate their artha and kama with the two. But we as individuals have limitations because we are dealing with Shastra. But you, as a public figure, now have a major responsibility that the Gita, Krishna says, has been spoken for those who are actually the administrators. Because Shastra is scripture. Shasan is administration. Shishya is to follow. And when nothing works, Shastra, which is weapons. So all this comes from one word, Shas, which is to rule, which is to control. Therefore, I think with the new education policy 2020, doors have opened for changes in the education system. And I think with influencers like yourself and others who are engaging in the public discourse at a deeper level with people on a regular basis, people who are following how the policies are changing, how the policies are impacting. And I think at the policy level, many things can be changed to integrate this in a way which can have long-term impact. And therefore, we are all setting the blueprint for it by sharing how that ancient message is relevant. But it is now up to all of you to take it to the deeper level so that the last mile impact can be created. And within the education system, it can be embedded. So the ball is in your court.
It starts with education, Swamiji. A lot of emphasis on primary education.
Absolutely.
And it is also interesting, Swamiji has come to Chennai and spoken from Ramayana. And this is a land where sometimes Ramayana is misunderstood here in the political landscape that we all belong to. And Ram Rajya is really misunderstood here, Swamiji. Just the other day, there was a politician from a party. He said, why Ram Rajya is needed in a state like Tamil Nadu? None of us have seen Rama, and none of us lived in Rama's age. And this Ram Rajya is a very misunderstood word by many politicians now, Swamiji. Because in my humble opinion, at one point of time when we said the king was great, people looked up to the king, the people were great. Now, the politicians come among the people. And there is a value disorientation in the society as a whole. So how do you see Ram Rajya with current people? Do you see a foreseeable future? Because you look at change from Panchayat to MLAs to MPs, a multiple systemic level changes to bring that kind of a governance model to the present day working. How do you see that, Swamiji? First, what is your definition of Ram Rajya and how do you see it happening?
I'll define Ram Rajya, but how to bring systemic change, I'll want to hear from you. What do you say? You agree or not? Okay, so Ram Rajya means 4 things as per Ramayana. First is Shastra, which is scripture, because Dasharath was there, but along with Dasharatha, Vasishtha Muni was always there. So when there is Shastra as the basis, second, the king, Dasharath Maharaj, was always willing to be the Shishya. So in that context, Ramayana gives great description about the entire council of ministers and how Dasharath could not make unilateral decisions. So he would always defer to deep wisdom, which is decision making by consensus, by counsel, by referrals. So that's the second, when there is Shastra and Shishya. The third principle of Ram Rajya is Samaj, which is, all the society elements taking their inputs, hearing from them, understanding what their needs, and that's what Lord Ram personally demonstrated even after coming back. He was hearing feedback. So there was a feedback loop, and Ram would take that feedback seriously, even though it may come from somebody who may not have mattered in terms of influence and power, but keeping the ears open. And fourth is, when there are sadhus like Vasishtha, Dasharath Maharaj would allow Vasishtha and others to guide and make policies. So when there is Shastra, there is sadhus, there is Shishya, and there is Samaj, all 4 principles put together in synergy, in harmony, then only Ram Rajya as described in Ramayana moves forward. And therefore Valmiki Ramayana unpacks this in very fascinating ways. But it all revolves around a core principle, which is the 5th principle, that it all begins with the ideal character of the king himself. And therefore Lord Ram went to great extents, sometimes some people may say extremes, to show how he is wanting to preserve the integrity as a leader. So these are some elements as described in Ramayana. Now how do we bring the context of Ramayana and Ram Rajya in today's day and age is, I think, something which you being deeply connected in society, in the police, in the administration, and now in the political domain, working with people at all levels, especially in this part of the country, I think we would like to hear from you.
Thank you, Swamiji. We have some former ministers sitting here, some eminent people. I'll try to make an attempt. People have lived through political lives here. Swamiji, I would say, for me, a great example is Nelson Mandela as a person. I would like to take some attributes from there and connect how things can change. Things will change in the future. Mandela, Swamiji, we all know, even a cursory glance, he went to prison at the age of 42. 1960-62 he went. Came out after 27 years, which is 42 years he went inside the prison, plus 27 you add, 69th year he came out. And you're looking at a person who must have come out as a very angry man. 18 years of solitary confinement, 27 years in total. A country dominated by whites, did not give them voting rights. But when he came out in the late 1980s, and what he did 4 years before the election is the crux of how a politician should be, Swamiji, in this modern times. Extreme tolerance to what happened. Because when you sit in that level as a politician, maybe in power, you are dealing with multiple competing groups. Every pressure group will think they are right. Everybody will think they are right. Every caste group will think they are right. Every class will think they are right. So I would say extreme tolerance to sit in that level and to get into everybody's shoes, try to understand from what point of view people speak. And Mandela did it for 4 years. He got into the shoes of white, he got into the shoes of black, sat with them, understood, tried to give them a hope that together they can build a rainbow nation. The second greatest quality which I see, which I think the present, because we can only talk about attributes and quality which an aspiring politician can pick up, practice as a virtue, because I always believe many virtues, even if not born into, by practice we can get it over a point of time. Extreme humility. When he went for a state visit to China, the story is, when he went out of his room, when he came back in the evening after a state dinner, the person who was supposed to take care of the room waited outside and said, "I'm so sorry." When he walked into the room, everything was in perfect order. You kept the pillows in the correct position. You kept the sheets in the correct position. I felt my service is not to your liking or standard. That is why you did everything on your own. So I'm here to apologize to you. And Mandela said, "I'm so sorry. It is not that I wanted to offend you. But living in a prison for 27 years, everything I did, cleaning the toilet to making up the bed. So it is my habit, even as a president of a country, to do everything on my own." Because the quality that everywhere he went, an emperor to a British queen, to a person cleaning that room, every single person, he always gave this quality that is a humble person. A politician, the problem is people don't listen much. And they live in high pedestal. They think they're always great. They think that they always know the public feedback, and nobody wants to listen. And this humility, the broken families, nuclear families, grandfathers don't live, a child is born into that family, he aspires a public career, he comes out after 20, 25 years. And that creates a system where people don't have tolerance much. For 5 people in a family in a small apartment, if people can't tolerate that in a politics, how will you tolerate 1 crore or even your 12 lakh people who vote for you? And these two qualities, Swamiji, I personally believe, tolerance and humility. And as a practice, when people practice it over years, and every time they keep themselves in check. They get angry, they tolerate it. They tell people that, look, I have to listen. My job is to listen. My job is to convince. My job is to take people along. And this quality, if we repeatedly start putting into young minds, and there is a political organization also, big political parties, established political parties, when they get good talent inside, it is the ability of the party to groom them at multiple levels, position them at panchayats, position them as assembly candidates or parliamentary members. I think if a political party has got that vision, is able to groom fine talents into the system, do it as a habit for 10, 20 years, I see change possible, Swamiji, where people will connect to politicians.
Excellent.
They connect to it. Because right now, you see the youngsters, wherever neighboring countries or across the world, the youngsters just want to vote out any politician who's in power. In Tamil Nadu, I've seen this election probably day after tomorrow, the results will show which way it is swinging. They just want to come out and vote. Because you talk to a youngster below 30 years of age, the first thing they say, I don't trust people. I don't trust anybody wearing a white shirt or a white dhoti, because there is a disconnect in the society to the current set of politicians. And people born after 90s or maybe 2000s, I see a severe disconnect, Swamiji. That is a dangerous sign in a democracy. One, the mistake, politicians not able to connect to young people, and young people not willing to open their minds and see politicians the way they are supposed to see a public servant. This disconnect is creating dangerous ripples across the world. Even in Tamil Nadu, it might do so on May 4. So I hope and pray that consciously, as an organization, as senior political leaders here, the best way for them to give back is groom 10 people, groom 15 people, groom 20 people. Give time every week, like how you do for Bhagavad Gita to mentoring classes. Start mentoring young people. I think if it is able to, we are able to do it, Swamiji, I see a good future, Swamiji.
Thank you. That's an excellent answer. And I want to just reflect on what you just said. And I have my friend here, Prabhu Venkatesh. You can just stand up so that everyone sees you. He's your good friend. So Prabhu Venkatesh is connected to me for many years. And he was regular, like our ISKCON devotee in practicing
With
Gita.
your permission, Swamiji, very sorry. And Prabhu Venkatesh was previously a member of our political party. One day he came to our office. He said, Anna, from tomorrow I am not going to give more time in politics. I am going to immerse myself in seva. I said, have you thought through it? And an active member of the political party having a role, he said, I'm going to do full service to ISKCON. And I'm going to relocate my base, move out of Coimbatore, move to a different city. And I thought through it, and my life is all about seva. And very good to see, Swamiji, that you're acknowledging him, because I'm also seeing him after a year and a half now. And good to see him. It's politics lost that he has decided to come to ISKCON, and ISKCON's keen to be a food soldier volunteer.
So that time, this is 2016, and then he said, I think I want to get connected to politics because his grandfather, Sri Narayana Swamiji, is a very well-known freedom fighter from Coimbatore. But many ISKCON devotees were telling him that, no, politics is not for good people, so don't join. So he asked me what to do. I said, if you don't go out in politics there, you will do politics in ISKCON. So you better try it out there and see what you can experience. So I'm happy to share that, he ventured out and connected with people like him. And he's still quite actively involved in some different roles. But I would say that that was a very important moment where he needed someone to move him in that direction. And in my own case, when I decided to, from IIT at the age of 22, decided to join, it was initially quite a shock for my family. And I have my roots from South India. I'm from Palakkad, and most of my family are here in Chennai. So many of my family members are here. Can you raise your hands here? So this is a whole family lobby which is sitting. Give a round of applause to all of them. So I must acknowledge that the family was very supportive, because if you don't get support of the family, you cannot actually embark on your journey. So I'm very grateful to them for supporting and acknowledging. So if all of you feel any value in what I'm doing, a large part of that goes to their blessings and their support also. So I want to come back to you, that you were a very established IPS officer, and somewhere in the internet, and people told me you were known as the Singham of Karnataka and things like that. So in that context, when you decided to make a shift, so what was that journey? What was that which inspired you to make the shift, and what were some of the reactions of the people close to you?
Swamiji, we also have some legendary police officers here who have served us with a lot of dignity, and it's a privilege to talk in front of them. Swamiji, my career was very short. It's about 9.5 years in the Indian Police Service. 2016, there was an incident, Swamiji, just you mentioned about the IIT incident. And I was the superintendent of police of a district. There was a rape and murder of a 10th standard student. 8:30, the local SHO called and told me that a girl is missing. I said, keep searching. At 11:30, he told me the body is found. From my home, it is 2 hours away from the SP's residence. I started moving towards that area. By 1:32, I reached there. Heavy rains, some 2,000, 3,000 people fully there. And the body is inside. We have to take the body out. And they were starting to pelt stones on the police vehicle. With a lot of control, we had to go inside, not do anything extra to kind of precipitate the situation more, take the body out because important forensic evidence is in the body. And when we brought it out, when it went for post-mortem and all kinds of forensic investigation, we were doing it. On the way back home, I started reflecting on why this happened, Swamiji. Innocent girl, no fault of her own, wrong time, wrong place, 10th standard girl. And when I found out, the school had 4 computers, and it was rationing system in the Western Ghats area in a small village, government school. And her chance came at 6:30, the last person to operate that computer. The principal was there, she was there, but 2 people who were supposed to accompany the girls, 5:30 slot, they went before. So she finished her computer class in the classroom. She started walking 3.5 kilometers to her home. Under the pitch dark, rains, cloudy, going all alone, 2-3 culprits saw her, saw the opportunity, did this act. The first mistake I felt is, okay, there is a crime, there is a criminal, it happened. But if I go beyond it, there is a circumstance that made the criminal to act. If I go one step below, again, there is a system problem that made the circumstance to happen. If I go one step below again, there is a bus that was not going. The school supposed to have 15 computers at 5. The girls had it at 6:30. This question, for the very first time in my policing career, I started questioning a lot of things. So what is the crime? What is the manifestation of a crime? Why it is happening? At what level we are trying to solve it? Maybe this questioning got deeper and deeper and deeper. 2018, I had the opportunity to take a Kailash pilgrimage. I always wanted to come out and do something in the grassroots, start, maybe get into education, focus on getting the right person, not get into this kind of kids who don't study, broken families, come out, commit this kind of crimes. But never had the courage to act on it, Swamiji. Always was like postponing it. I come from a very first generation family, father 10th standard, mother 8th standard, in a small village. And I can't even think about quitting a service like IPS. I cannot even think because I can't go back to my village. I can't go and do farming again. And the whole thing in the last 40 years of my life, my parents doing their best to push me out of village. They say, study hard and get out of this village. Don't even come back. Get a better life. And me trying to kind of reinvent the wheel, trying to go back to the village is simply not possible in their mind. But never had the courage to act. So Kailash pilgrimage, at luck happened, Swamiji. The last pilgrimage Government of India had, 2019, pre-COVID. So I was the liaison officer of a batch 13. And it was the longest batch in Kailash Mansarovar's history. We took 56 days to complete the whole yatra. While going, there was a terrible flood in Guji village, got problem, telecommunication. So there was a time when we had to ration food to all the 50, 60 people we took along with us. Helicopters was not coming in, food was not coming in, communication cut off. First time in my life, Swamiji, I was living in a place almost 20-25 days where I could meet only the 50 people. Where as a liaison officer, my duty is to take care of the 50 people. Mothers are crying, children left back home, no communication. A pilgrimage supposed to take 23 days is taking 56 days. Visa got over, again had to come back and get the visa done. The whole process, Swamiji, maybe it took me back to my original being, as a human being, very original being, not ego, not thinking of power dimension, not thinking of those things. When I started questioning what I have to do, the answer was very clear. Just do what is right, what you think gives you happiness. When you mentioned about thoughts, words, in Tamil I keep telling every time I pray to a God, I ask only one thing. Dear God, always make sure my ennam sol sayal, my thinking, my words and my action is in one alignment, that's it. As long as it is happening, things will happen. Even right or wrong things you do, we accept it. Ennam sol sayal. I got into a stage where my ennam sol sayal was not in consonance, not in an alignment. So that pilgrimage with 23 days of, 56 days of total thing and 23 days of disconnectivity, it gave me that zone to think very clearly. I just came out and quit and walked out, Swamiji. And I've never thought about convincing the parents, I felt these three things are in alignment. Then politics happened second, Swamiji. It is not that I planned to get into politics. I started a foundation called We the Leaders, again from the village, ran it for a year. Volunteers, get into colleges, get into schools, get into basic education, get them to go out and get a job, work with broken family kids, get into organic farming. So politics happened later, Swamiji. So even now, I take a lot of pride in calling me as a chief servant of We the Leaders Foundation. So we do a lot of quality work at the grassroots level to fix human beings at a fundamental level. And now we all know politics is something that can only happen, Swamiji. You can keep doing what you have to do, and things will happen at one point of time. It is like a critical mass. Just like that nuclear reaction, it cannot happen tomorrow. You keep doing it. When the critical mass happens, the explosion will happen. So I hope and pray that whatever me and other people sitting in this room, a lot of us do it, to have a general vision of good politics for our state. It will happen one day, but like you said, not to get impatient, have the tolerance and humility to go there. But to answer it in one word is to answer that simple question of why that girl died. Now in my own humble way, Swamiji, I instituted a scholarship in that same school. And we brought computers. Even now I work with that school. That since they studied 10th standard, the first girl who comes in that school, me and a group of friends, we sponsor her education, complete education after that from that government school. Because this, I believe, is my closure. As an SP, the question that was gnawing me, should I put more patrol vehicles? Should my sub-inspector be more smarter? Should we have put more CCTV? Should we have taken more rowdy registers and checked? Even, I think that is a dangerous thing for a policeman. You start getting into this moral angle as a policeman. I don't think you can do your job very efficiently, Swamiji. This is my thing, but we have legendary officers who have served with a lot of conviction for 30, 40 years. And now, I would say that I'm not at a happy or not at a sad place, but as long as all these three things are aligned, Ennam, Sol, Sayal, every day is a joy. You learn, you move to the next day, you learn, move to the next day. That's how I live my life, Swamiji.
Thank you so much. That's really beautiful to hear. And, you know, I want to reflect back on what you just said about how important it is for us to live as per our inner calling. And that's what I see from your story, that there was this inner calling and you had the conviction to live as per the inner calling. And I think when you began our conversation, you mentioned about how India is losing its DNA of being seekers. And I remember that when we speak about seeking, there will always be obstacles and challenges. And India has always shown the path that no matter what degree of obstacles come, somehow or the other, like the Mother Ganga river, you have to find its way. Mother Ganga keeps finding her way across rocks in her journey to the Bay of Bengal. And I think that's been a very powerful DNA of this land, where people with all the challenges, obstacles, difficulties may be helpless, but they never become hopeless. And that's one thing what spirituality brings to the table, helping people in helpless situation maintain their hope. I was traveling to IIT Kharagpur for an event with two of my friends from America. Our flight landed in Kolkata. When I came out, they told me that it is the Bengal Bandh that day. So we were welcomed with garlands and we were told Bengal Bandh. So I told my friends who had come to pick me up, who were the organizers, so today is Bengal Bandh, so program must be cancelled. They said, no, program is on. I said, Bengal Bandh, cars cannot move. How can we go to the 3 hours journey? They said, we have come to pick you up in ambulance. So that is what is called out-of-box thinking. So when we were entering ambulance, my two American friends asked me, why are we entering ambulance? I said, good question, but answer will take half an hour, because I have to explain what is bandh to you. So I said, you sit behind, I will sit in front. When we went ahead, people stopped us and said, we want to check who's behind. And I said, go and check. So they started looking inside, and my two American friends with garlands around their neck after taking breakfast were sleeping peacefully. These guys looked inside and said, may their souls rest in peace. And we reached Kharagpur within 3 hours. So as I was reflecting on your life's journey, I was thinking that this has been the greatest strength of our country, that people have always been inspired, not by the intention of fear, not by the intention of desire, but by the intention of kartavya, duty, and the intention of love, because every relationship has 4 challenges. Every relationship has scarcity, impediment, discomfort, unhappiness. Scarcity, impediment, discomfort, unhappiness. Still the relationship continues, either in family or with friends, in social circle, in organizations, in employment, as you said, with tolerance and humility. Then only something notable gets done in the long run. And Bharat's story has always been that. And therefore I think that here in Tamil Nadu, with all of you making major contributions, it's a very, very important dimension, because Tamil Nadu has been the state with the largest number of temples, because I have been in the temple ecosystem for now 33 years. So that state which has the maximum number of temples is Tamil Nadu. So you